Hello viewers, I am Dr. Ajay Kumar Misra, welcoming you all to my YouTube channel named Computer the Way of Life. Today the topic of interest is embedded system. Friends, as you know, electronic gadgets and other handheld devices are becoming an indispensable part of our day-to-day activities. The working of these devices is largely depending on its processor or microprocessor. A microprocessor is nothing but a very large scale integrated circuit or ultra large scale integrated circuit on which the entire computer circuitry is being fabricated and responsible for all the activities. These processors are categorized under three broad heads: processor or main processor, coprocessor or additional processors, and embedded processors. Processor or main processor is responsible for all the activities, whereas coprocessor helps to improve the efficiency and capability. And in case of embedded system, we can say these are the processor that is used in the gadgets other than computer. General purpose computer systems are designed to manage a wide range of processing tasks, but sometimes lacking specific requirements. On the other hand, an embedded system is a dedicated one that discharges one or two specific functions with utmost clarity. Now it's a time to discuss more about embedded system. The word embedded means something that is attached to another thing. It is a combination of computer hardware and software fixed in capability or programmable, engineered for a specific function or functions within a large system. Embedded system was first used in building Apollo guidance system in the year 1960 by Charles Strack Draper at Massachusetts Institute of Technology of United States. An embedded system can be an independent system or it can be a part of a large system that includes hardwares, specifically electrical and mechanical components of the system. In other words, an embedded system is a microcontroller or microprocessor based system which is designed to perform a specific task and are managed by single or multiple processing cores in the form of microcontrollers as digital signal processors, field programmable gate arrays, and application specific integrated circuits and gate arrays. In this, processing components are integrated with components dedicated to handling electrical or mechanical interfacing. It is software driven, reliable, and a real time control system that can optimize size, cost, power consumption, reliability, and performance. Embedded systems are typically produced on broad scales and share functionality across a variety of environments and applications like medical equipment, industrial machines, automobiles, agricultural and industry devices, cameras, household appliances, vending machines, airplanes, toys, as well as mobile devices. It is also used for navigation, control of crafts, and missile technology. After having an idea about the embedded system, it's a time to discuss about its basic structure. Whatever may be the purpose of developing embedded systems, it must fulfill its basic structure. The basic structure of an embedded system can be illustrated by the diagram drawn below. In this diagram, you can observe first the sensor is used to measure the physical quantity and converts it to an electrical signal which can be read by the observer or by an electronic instrument like an analog to digital converter. A sensor stores the measured quantity to the memory, then analog to digital converter. An analog to digital converter converts the analog signal sent by the sensor into a digital signal. Then the role of processor and ASIC comes into picture. Processor is the heart of an embedded system. It is the basic unit that takes inputs and produces an output after processing the data. Processors process the data to measure the output and store it to the memory. For an embedded system designer, it is necessary to have the knowledge of both microprocessors and microcontrollers. Next, digital to analog converter. A digital to analog converter converts the digital data fed by the processor to analog data. Next, actuator. An actuator compares the output given by the digital to analog converter to the actual or the expected output stored in it and stores the approved outputs. Memory is used to store the data before and after processing that can be used at the time of requirement in future. After having an idea about the structure of embedded system, now we will discuss about its important components. An embedded system has mainly three components: hardware, application software, and real-time operating system. The working of embedded system is very much limited to their hardware, such as power supply, processor, memory, timers, and counters. Once the hardware is complete, we have to build the appropriate software tools for programming and coding. Programs are written in assembly code or in embedded C language, compiled and converted to their hexadecimal code, and finally burnt into read-only memory. Commonly used software tools are assembler, emulator, debugger, and compiler. Finally, we will discuss about real-time operating system. Here, real-time operating system defines the way the system works. It sets the rules during the execution of application programs. Real-time operating system supervises the application software and provides mechanism that allows the processor to run a process as per schedule to control the latency. A small-scale embedded system may not have a real-time operating system. Now it's a time to discuss about the block diagram and working model of an embedded system. The block diagram and working of an embedded system can be well understood by the diagrams drawn below. Here figure 1 describes the block diagram of an embedded system, whereas figure 2 describes the working model of an embedded system. An embedded system is the combination of hardware and software, each having their own specifications. In this, power supply, processor, memory, timer, counters, and communication ports are mainly constituting the hardware, whereas assembler, emulator, debugger, and compilers are software. Here power supply is a circuit that converts 230 alternative current to the required direct current, that is 5 volt or 3.3 volt or 1 volt. Processor is the main brain that affect the performance of the system and available in 8-bit, 16-bit and 32-bit form. Memory may be volatile or non-volatile or electrically erasable, programmable read-only memory in nature. Timer and counters are used to make some delay for a specific time interval without affecting the normal code execution. Embedded system use different types of communication ports to communicate with the other embedded devices like UART, CAN, SPI and Ethernet. The working of an embedded system is taking place in 3 different phases. At step 1, first analog or digital inputs from the user are accepted by using keyboard, sensors, touch screen or any other input mode and transmit that to the core of the system. Then at step 2, the converter converts the input data to their suitable form and then processing, that is the calculation or conversion is done by the concerned processor as per the rules. And finally at step 3, after processing, the required output is converted to suitable form and provides the output through output devices such as monitor, LCD and touch screen. Now it's a time to discuss about the important characteristics of embedded system. Number 1. Single function. An embedded system usually performs a specified operation, that is either 1 or 2, and does the same repeatedly. For example, a microwave always functions as a microwave. Then tightly constant. All computer systems have constants or design matrices, but an embedded system can be specially tight. Design matrices is a measure for an implementation's features such as its cost, size, power and performance. It must be of a size to fit on a single chip, must perform fast enough to process data in real time and consume minimum power to extend battery life. Next, reactive and real time. Many embedded systems must continually react to change in the system's environment and must compute the results in real time without any delay. For example, a car cruises controller continuously monitors and reacts to the speed and brake sensor. It must compute acceleration or deaccelerations repeatedly within a limited time. A delayed computations can result in failure to control of the car. Next, microprocessor based. It must be microprocessor or microcontroller based. Then, memory. It must have a memory as its software usually embeds in read-only memory. It does not need any secondary memories in the computer. Next, connected. It must have connected peripherals to connect input and output devices. And finally, hardware and software systems. Here hardware is used for performance and security, whereas software is used for more features and flexibility. Next, we will discuss about the types of embedded system. Embedded systems can be classified broadly under two heads. Number 1, based on performance and function requirements, and number 2, based on the performance of the microcontroller. The first category, that is based on performance and functional requirement, is also subdivided as real-time embedded system, standalone embedded system, network embedded system and mobile embedded system. Similarly, second category, that is based on the performance of the microcontroller, is again subdivided as small scale embedded system, medium scale embedded system and sophisticated embedded system. Now we will discuss one after another in details. First, real-time embedded system. A real-time embedded system is defined as a system which gives a required output in a particular time. These types of embedded systems follow the time deadlines for completion of a task. Real-time embedded systems are classified into two types, such as soft real-time and a hard real-time system. Next, standalone embedded system. Standalone embedded system works by itself and do not require a host system like a computer. It takes the input from the input ports, either analog or digital, and processes, calculates and converts the data and gives the resulting data through the connected device which either controls, drives or displays the connected devices. For example, MP3 players, digital cameras, video game consoles, microwave ovens and temperature measurement systems. Next is a network embedded system. Network embedded systems are related to a network to access the resources. The connected networks can be local area network, wide area network or internet. The connection can be any wired or wireless. This type of embedded system is the fastest growing area in embedded system applications. The embedded web server is a type of system wherein all embedded devices are connected to a web server and accessed and controlled by a web browser. Example for the local area network embedded system is a home security system wherein all sensors are connected and run on the protocol that is TCP/IP. Next, mobile embedded system. Mobile embedded systems are used in portable embedded devices like cell phones, mobiles digital cameras, MP3 players, and personal digital assistant. The basic limitations of these devices is the other resources and limitations of memory. Next, small scale embedded system. These systems are designed with a single 8 or 16-bit microcontroller that may even be activated by a battery. For developing embedded software for small scale embedded systems, the main programming tools are an editor, assembler, cross assembler, and integrated development environment. Next, medium scale embedded system. These systems are designed with a single 16 or 32-bit microcontroller, RISC or DSP. These types of embedded systems have both hardware and software complexities. The main programming tools used for this are C, C++, Java, Visual C++, real-time operating system, debugger, source code engineering tool, simulator, and integrated development environment. And finally, we will discuss about sophisticated embedded system. These systems have enormous hardware and software complexities that may need ASIPs, IPs, PLA, scalable or configurable processor. They are used for cutting-edge applications that need hardware and software, code design, and components which have to assemble in the final system. Now we will discuss about the applications of embedded system. Embedded systems are using almost all aspects of human life. Commonly used application areas of embedded system are automobiles, telecommunications, smart cards, missiles and satellite technology, peripherals, consumer electronics, computer networking, and image processing and pattern recognition. In case of automobiles, it can be used in motors and cruise control system, body and engine safety, entertainment and multimedia. Whereas in case of telecommunication, it can be used as e-commerce, mobile computing, robotics in assembly line, wireless communication. In case of smart cards, it can be used as security system and network cards. Whereas in case of missile and satellite technology, it can be used as defense and aerospace and also for communication. In case of peripherals, it can be used to display in monitors and printers. Whereas in case of consumer electronics, it can be used as digital cameras, set-top box, high definition TVs and DVD. In case of computer networking, it can be used as telephone and banking, networking system and network cards. Finally, in case of image processing and pattern recognition, we can use the biometrics, face recognition, fraud detection and other means of detecting technology. Finally, we will discuss about the advantages and disadvantages of embedded system. Under advantages, we will discuss about the easily customizable, low power consumption, low cost and enhanced performance. Here easily customizable refers the action of modifying something to suit a particular individual or task. Low power consumption means it requires very less power and can run on batteries too. Low cost means as it is done for large scale production, automatically it reduces the cost. When we are talking about the enhanced performance, it refers the specifically designed circuit that provides better and dedicated performance. On having many advantages, there are some disadvantages too, like high development effort and large time to market. High development effort involves the lot of time and other valuable resources to come to the expected level, whereas large time to market means as we have to deal with the diverse, spatial and dynamic environment that takes lot of times to successfully launch the product. With this, I remain. Hope you all have enjoyed it. Thank you for your patient hearing. Also suggest the topic of interest you want to explain me in future.